going to start out with Joe Bettner with the Norman transcript and then go to Jason Kersey. Joe?
Ronnie, just with all that you've been through over the past, few months, I'm curious, what was it like being back out on the field on Saturday, making the impact that you've made?
It felt good just to be back out there with my teammates, being able to help our team win. It was just a good feeling, just a feeling I haven't had in a long time. So it felt real good to get back out there, but I'm ready to go again this week.
Okay, let's go to Jason Kersey with the Athletic and then Ryan Aber.
Hey, Ronnie. Coach Riley's been very vocal about over the last several months about needing to change the rules that got you suspended. I'm just wondering, has it helped knowing that he's in your corner like that publicly? Has that made this process easier for you?
I can't really speak on like the rules and anything, but I mean, just having a coach support you, it mean a lot. He go all out for his guys. So in return on the field, his guys gonna go all out for him because we know how hard he back us off the field.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Okay, let's go to Ryan Aber, the Oklahoman, and then Eric Bailey.
Yeah, Ronnie, when you're out, and especially with all the uncertainty around things, how do you stay engaged with everything? How would you rate your play on Saturday, and how much better do you think you can get quickly, given the rust and things you got to shake off?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Just how did you stay engaged during that whole time with the uncertainty and everything, and how would you rate your play on Saturday?
I just for the last few weeks, I was just focused on coming into practice and helping this team however I could. And no matter if it was scout team, no matter if it was trying to coach up the young guys. So I was just engaged the whole weekend practice to try to get the team best prepared for Saturday as I could. Saturday, I wouldn't say I could rate my play. I just can say, shoot, I left some plays out on the field, so still got a little rust to knock off, but that's why we practice. So I'm just ready to keep working.
Appreciate it, Ronnie.
Eric Bailey with Tulsa World, and then John Hoover.
Hey, Ronnie, just how tough was it to hear that decision being made after the Big 12 game? And who got you through the tough days when you really missed playing football so much?
Can you ask again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. How tough was it to hear about the decision being made after the Big 12 game? And then just who got you through the tough days when you missed playing football so much?
I don't really want to talk about the previous, but really just my teammates and my coaches. Being a part of this football team really helped a lot. I can say we really got each other's backs no matter what.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Okay, John Hoover with SI Sooners, and then Bob Crisbillo.
Hey, Ronnie, I wonder if you could describe maybe your level of frustration just over the past few weeks of, since the news was announced or broke kind of against before the Iowa State game, how your status kind of changed, and then you weren't on the sideline. It just seemed kind of all over the place. What were you going through at that time?
As a person, it's easily get our head scrambled, but I really just trusted the process, trusted Coach Riley, trusted my team, and they was like coaches helping me to stay locked in, and I was trusting God. So like I really just left it all in their hands, and whenever I was gonna get my opportunity, I'll be ready for it.
And real quick, could you describe the scene on Friday night?
You said on Friday night?
Yeah, when you guys heard the news.
Yeah, it kind of turned into almost a little riot inside the little meeting room. So it was a couple chairs flipped over. I had to shake a lot of hands. I had a lot of hugs to give up. But it was a great feeling.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Bob Crisbillo with Sooner Scoop, and then Caleb McCurry.
Yeah, Ronnie, clearly you didn't want to be out, but what was it like to watch someone like Isaiah Thomas really step up since you weren't in the lineup?
It looked great. I'm still like to this day. I'm so happy for him. He been here for a long time, so like it's finally good to see him like start to take those strides, becoming a better football player, and being one of the top D linemen in our conference. So I got nothing but happiness for him, and I tell him that every day. Like dog, you doing it, you balling, man. Like, you got to keep this up.
Okay, Kale McCurry with OU Daily, and then Parker Thune.
Ronnie, from March to June, when the team was separated because of COVID, how did you stay in shape? How did you keep in contact with all the rest of the players? Just how did you get through that time?
I mean, it wasn't hard. We were doing a lot of Zoom meetings between that time. Just had a lot of training going on. I went to Houston to get some training in. Went back home, continued my training. It was kind of hard trying to find open gyms with everything, with the pandemic first hitting. But eventually, I found me a good gym. So I just took it upon myself, really, like to keep myself in shape, keep myself in football shape. Eventually, when we were returning to campus.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Yeah, let's go to Parker Thune with SI Sooners.
Yeah, Ronnie, just curious, Nick Benito is one of the highest graded pass rushers in the country by a lot of metrics. So now that you're back and now that you're lining up on one side of that line and you got Nick on the other side, what do you think your guys' ceiling is? What kind of havoc you think you can wreak on Big 12 quarterbacks and offensive lines?
I feel like we could be probably the most dominant edge forces in the conference and probably in the country. So we just got to keep putting our work in, and eventually everything will come together for us. But I definitely believe we could be one of the top duos and one of the top D lines in the country.
Okay, and let's go to James Hale with KREF.
Hey, Ronnie, you looked good when you got out there right away. I mean, you looked explosive, and I'm just curious. You've started so many games, but you hadn't played in 6 games. So was it like riding a bike? As soon as you got in the stance, everything was normal, or I mean, what was that like for you to get out there and get going? Because you look good, man.
It felt great, after 6 games, you're still gonna feel like a little deer in the headlights, but once it gets going, it gets going. And so, once I just touch the field, all I tell myself is calm down and get to play and tell myself my job, and I execute. So it's you basically say like riding a bike. Yeah, it's just like riding a bike, man. As long as you got a clear mind, I'll be all right.
How good did it feel to chase? You got after that running back that broke it, and you were one of the guys running him down. That kind of get the cobwebs out.
Yeah, they got some cobwebs. I also noticed, like, dang, I'm not tired neither. So I knew I went out of shape. So it kind of felt good. It knocked some cobwebs off for me.
Thanks, Ronnie.
And one more, Ronnie. Let's go to Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman.
Ronnie, a little bit off the field of play question. It was sort of a turbulent summer with a lot of social justice issues and things like that. You athletes really got involved. I had a question. The general public that comes to the stadium and cheers you on or watches on TV, what do you want them to know about you guys that they don't know? What is something they don't know that you'd like them to know?
Probably we more than athletes. That's probably the biggest thing. Like, we people, we also people, after we take the Oklahoma jersey off, like, we humans too. So, like, we could feel a certain way about certain topics. Everybody not gonna always agree on certain topics, but sometimes you just gotta agree to disagree. So, I mean, we human at the end of the day. We gonna have feelings toward certain things that others not gonna agree with. So, you just gotta agree to disagree.